Matt Meehan here for IrishBoxingCom Association with PD giveaways and the Mangan Group NYC, who was our main fight week sponsor the last two JB shows. Brian, I had a great chat with you about 2 or 3 minutes at the National Stadium. Things were going left, right, and centre, but how are we?
Good, Matt. Good. Everything's good. Saturday morning here in New York. I have a weekend at home. I was meant to go to the Golden Gloves last night at MSG, but didn't go. Watched it on TV, watched a bit of golf. So I'm having a relaxing weekend. Last weekend, I took 4 flights in 4 days. So this weekend, I'm just relaxing.
What's the vibe post April 4th in the National Stadium? What did you think of the fights? A great card.
Matt, from the minute I went in, I watched, as you know, because you were with me, I watched every fight. Every fight was unbelievable. I'm lucky enough to go to fights most weeks, and that Paul Ryan Peter Carr fight, I'd pay to watch that every week. That was unbelievable. Kelsey Leonard, her knockout, unbelievable. Every fight, Richie's fight, Sarah Murphy, like Christina Desmond, all the way down. Every fight, Matt, was absolutely unbelievable. That was the third Jay Byrne Promotions fight that I've been to, as you know, and everyone just keeps getting better and better. Like what Jay and his team are doing are outstanding, unbelievable. And from what I'm hearing, the May 30 card is an absolute banger. So I'm excited. I can't wait to get back over there. I'm just privileged enough that I'm able to get to those shows and just enjoy them from the minute I get in. Every show is just getting better and better.
Was there any favorite fights that you particularly stood out to you?
Obviously, the main Paul, Paul's fight. Obviously, I have an interest in Paul because I sponsor him. And look, people said, did Paul have a chin? Well, people found out on Saturday night that Paul had a chin. Peter Carr is an unbelievable guy. He just stood there in the pocket and just kept on, kept on. But Paul just, I knew going down the stretch, Paul would have it, and yeah, it just turned out that was an unbelievable fight. The co-main event, oh my God, Richie O'Leary's
What
fight
a
was,
fight.
oh God. I mean, Kelsey Leonard's fight was unbelievable. Then when I was watching Sarah Murphy, from what I've seen all Sarah's 3 fights from the first day I saw her in Jay's card in October to the second fight in Leopardstown to the last time you could see her, as I said in our chat last week, she stepped up the levels and she's definitely, I saw yesterday she's out training again. She was running in the Curragh, doing a bit of work in the Curragh. Like Sarah is going to be when she comes into her own, when she gets into that 19, 20-year-old space and she gets that woman body in her,
Yeah.
like men do, she's going to absolute be a knockout star. So look, Matt, it was an unbelievable card last week. I left Sunday morning and I was just absolutely blown away by every one of those fights.
I think one that everyone's talking about is the main event. I want to bring you back to that main event. It was like if you've ever seen Robbie Lawler versus Roy McDonald to the co-main event of UFC 189, just two men standing in the center of the ring handling business. Kerr put up a great fight, and I believe hopefully that he will get another shot at redemption.
Yeah, and I was sitting there, and every time Paul would hit him, he'd like, and
Mm,
he would just stand there. He reminded me of Max Holloway, and he,
yeah.
he would just stand there in the pocket. And I just think that if Peter didn't do that, and because when every time he did it, Paul just kept on jabbing him, and then Paul turned him and put him up against the ropes, and then dropped him, and then threw in the towel. I think if he didn't do that, that fight could have gone on a bit longer. But Matt, I would pay all day to see that. But Paul now is gonna get his opportunity for a European title, which I believe is going to happen, fingers crossed, in August. So Paul's going to step up the levels, but Peter Carr on any given day is a problem.
I wanna talk about the Oisin Tracy Sean Murray fight. Um, yeah, no, I'll hand it over to you.
No, Matt, look, O'Sheen's fight, unbelievable. Matt, every one of those fights were unbelievable. Like, I don't know how Jay gets these cards together, but Jesus Christ, um, they're just unbelievable, Matt. They're just unbelievable.
Like I guess like the level of the fights that we seen was upped a level from the last time out. So like obviously I think by the time that Jay does each card, there's levels that have been upped in each time that he keeps raising the bar and the standard.
Matt, you see the crowds that Jay gets to his events. Like, I've been to two stadium events and the one at Leopardstown, and Jesus, he gets the crowds uh, like they don't get crowds like that in England for those types of cards. Like what Jay's putting on. Obviously, we know Jay's the best at what he does in Ireland, but like he's becoming a huge name. Even I know for a fact in America, people know about Jay Byrne. There, I speak to the guys at PBC, Al Heyman's guys, all the time. They know who Jay Byrne is. I speak to people at Matchroom. Clearly, they know who Jay Byrne is. I know people at Queensbury. They know who Jay Byrne is. Jay Byrne is becoming a huge name in the world of boxing because what Jay does is something similar to what Frank Warren does at Queensbury. He's bringing his fighters true the right way. And people see that. And there was a huge market in Ireland for many years. Jay's taken that bull by the horns and he's bringing fighters. I have got to know fighters over the past 6 to 9 months. Every fighter has nothing but good things to say about Jay Byrne, how he's guiding them, how he helps people. Like there's a word in business, Matt. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Jay Byrne is that care factor. And what he does inside the ring, outside the ring for people is unbelievable. So people see that. And the world, not just in Ireland, but the world are finding out who Jay Byrne is. And he's putting on some fantastic cards. And to be honest with you, there's a big future ahead for that man.
Why I haven't asked this before, but what made you want to link up with Jay?
So when I was in the stadium in October, I had sponsored Spike and Carl, who I've always sponsored. They were the first two fighters I sponsored. And I had never ever been to an Irish boxing show. I've been to hundreds of cards around the world, but never had been to an Irish boxing show. I go to that show and the it's when you go to a boxing show, it's all about obviously the fights, but the production, Matt.
Yeah.
The word and a lot you hear Dana White talking about it, Frank Smith at Matchroom, Queensbury. It's all about the production. It's not just the fighters inside. It's the music, it's the crowd, it's the ambiance, the atmosphere, and the production I saw was unbelievable. I said, I want to get to be a part of this. So, I reached out to Jay and he had opportunities for sponsors and we did a deal and it's not short term. My deal with Jay and between me and Jay is going to be over many years. We're going to be doing
So
huge things.
it's a long-term deal.
Yeah, I'm not Matt. Look, I don't get nothing financially. I don't gain from boxing. It's just me having an interest and sponsoring fighters. I don't get nothing in return, Matt. It's about me going and enjoying the events. For me, I probably spent probably 7, 8 grand last year, or sorry, last week, just going over to the show and sponsoring all. But for me, it's just about enjoyment, Matt. And I like going to shows. I don't care what it costs, but once I leave that show, get on a plane and go home and go, that was worth it. That's it for me, Matt. I enjoy meeting people, making new friends, getting to know people, enjoying the show, and helping boxers get and to fulfill what they want to do in life. But Jay has got huge plans for his fighters and for Irish boxing, and Irish boxing is going to be in an absolutely great place with that man.
We're hearing about July. hopefully for a Queensberry card or August for a Queensberry card. I think because I think it is because of Jay, because of the renaissance. Like Jay is the renaissance of Irish boxing, and I don't think anyone can deny that. I want to. He's the renaissance of Irish boxing. But if you look at like the amount of people are coming back, the big promotions, it is because of Jay, and I think it's simple as that.
Imagine if Jay Byrne wasn't in Irish boxing. Like there isn't too many.
Queensberry wouldn't come around. Queensberry
I
wouldn't
know
be
Jason
here.
Quigley puts on a couple of shows a year and there's one or two, but no one does the production. No one puts in the presser. No one puts in the media. And I know Jay's brought on a media team, and I know now you've become part of the amateur show, and well
Yeah,
done on that. But you
appreciate
know
that.
what Jay is investing, and you know what he's doing, Matt? He's
What?
giving opportunity
Yeah,
to people. He's given opportunity to fighters. He's given opportunity for fans to come back into boxing, right? And you know, I gave Jay a new name the other day. I call him the J Train. He just keeps on going. He just keeps on going. His name on my phone now is the J Train because that man keeps on going. Like I remember, I flew over to Manchester last weekend for Glen Show. Like he was up from Friday morning, didn't sleep Saturday, flew over to Dublin, did the show, the amateur and the main show, and was up Sunday. The man didn't sleep for 5 or 6 days. Like he's a machine.
yeah.
And he reminds me of the likes of Eddie Hearn, who's relentless. Jay's relentless. And when he puts his mind to it, and I know I'm going on about him, but when that man is a genius. And big up to Jay Byrne.
I think the next card, hopefully, like every show I go to with Jay, it tops each one. I hopefully May 30th. I want to get on to May 30th. May 30th, already a few names announced. Obviously, we've the likes of
Cian
Keane Reddy
Reddy,
and a few
Darren
others there, and
Murphy.
Sarah Murphy and a few others there as well.
Yeah,
Any fighters that you know of that we could be seeing?
absolutely. I'm going to wait for Jay to put it out there. I'm not going to, as we have a saying, loose lips sink ships. There's absolutely 50-50 fights, unbelievable, Matt. And when Jay puts out the card, it's going to be an absolute. I put a post, I think, this morning on
Yeah,
my
yeah.
Instagram. Get your tickets because this will be sold out. Because I know that Leopardstown will do about 11, but they can push it up to about 1,500 in that convention center. I'm telling people right now, get your tickets. Matt, it's what are we, 6 weeks away or
6 weeks. Yeah,
7 weeks?
yeah.
6 weeks away today. I cannot wait. I've already booked me tickets. Me kids are coming. I know that my family are coming up, and it's going to be absolutely buzzing. And then after that, you have the May card, and sorry, the September card, or August card. Then you have a September card. Like unbelievable. Like Irish boxing. Oh my God, I I go to shows in America every week. Unbelievable. But going to those shows, Matt, I sit in there. I was in there, what, 6 o'clock with you last
Yeah,
Saturday? I
yeah.
was there till 11. I watched every fight, 5 hours of boxing. I would pay 10 times the ticket price to go see them again. Because why? Every fight is absolutely unbelievable. And then you see these young fighters coming through, like what's his name there? Carl Sheridan
Yeah, Kelshawn made his
came
debut. Yeah,
through. Jay has, I think, Sarah Bresnan,
Zara
another
Breslin. Yeah.
girl, Sarah Bresnan coming through. Like he's given opportunity. He's bringing people through. I love that. It's like I latched on to Sarah Murphy. I saw her first fight, in the stadium. Then we were over in Leopardstown for her second fight. Then I saw her fight. Like Kelsey, and I love seeing people get these opportunities and fighting, getting on the cards. So for me, it's amazing, Matt.
And we have a live question here from Jay. He said, "Ask him his thoughts on the Glen fight from ringside."
So I was sitting there, Matt, and I have to take a deep breath because you know I remember after round one, I'm sitting ringside. Jay's after coming off um, the canvas, coming down the steps, and he looked at me and says, "We're going to win this fight." Glenn goes out and he knocks William Crawler out 3 times. We're standing there screaming like, Matt, to be honest with you, Glenn was. I'm gonna tell you straight. Glenn was done wrong by the referee, not by Matchroom, not by William Crawler, not by anything but the referee. The referee, gave, the count was more longer than what it should have done. Glenn was getting hit in the back of the head. You know, they should have stopped that fight. The referee should have stopped that fight, and those two lads could have went home healthy and lived to fight another day. Glenn, if he had got the win, would have had another two more fights with Matchroom. William would come again. That didn't happen. Both William and Glenn went to the hospital, and the life of Glenn and William Crawler was in the hands of that referee, and he should never referee a boxing fight again. Matt, I've been all over the world watching fights week in, week out. That referee, and then I googled his name, and he had the same issue with a Jamie TKV fight as
Hold
well.
the glove down.
Yeah, and Matt, to be honest with you, Glenn Byrne, right, would be sitting at home today, smiling, watching the US Open, knowing he's got two more fights with Matchroom, and Glenn is a part-time boxer. This isn't his full-time
Yeah,
job,
he has
Matt.
a full-time
He
job at
he
Amazon.
has a
Yeah,
full, and he's a
yeah,
great job, and he makes
yeah.
great money. But that referee took that opportunity from Glenn Byrne. And I know for a fact Jay won't let it go. And Matt, I won't let it go either because he was wronged. And that referee, Rob Carney, I believe is his name, did him dirty. And I know Jay is going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that that man doesn't get those opportunities to referee. Because, Matt, let me tell you, when Glenn's head hit the canvas, you could
Oh,
see Glenn trying to get
disaster.
up two or
Yeah,
three
yeah,
times,
yeah,
but his
yeah.
body wouldn't react to it.
Oh,
And I'm sitting there with Jay's wife and Glenn's girlfriend,
Shannon,
lovely
yeah,
people.
yeah,
And we were mortified, Matt. The whole place went silent. And I actually, Matt, sent an email to the British Boxing Board of Control, to the
yeah.
chairman, and I wrote him an email saying that this shouldn't have been allowed, Matt. And Glenn Byrne is an absolute. I didn't think that was it. I knew Glenn could win the fight, but I didn't think he could be that good. And Glenn Byrne opportunities were taken away by that one man. And somebody, Matt, God forbid, could have died in that ring because of that referee not doing his job. So, Matt, that's all I want to say in it because I could
I
go on and
think
like,
no, I think when the kind of the sudden seconds after we seen the extremely unfortunate state that Glenn was in, um, I think a few people's minds went back to February, 2 Februarys ago, with the poor passing of John Cooney, and obviously something not in that not exactly situation, but it's something along the lines of that happening, you know,
Matt, that
and
could
that
have been prevented.
yeah
That could have been prevented, Matt. That fight should have been over in the second round. Those boys should have went home. William Crawler didn't even know he was knocked down four times.
yeah he had
Like,
to
like
ask
Glenn is a lovely fella, and I'll go to bat for Glenn every day. Now, I've only known Glenn a short period of time, Matt, but I can tell you one thing: Glenn's a nice fella, and Glenn didn't deserve that. And that referee, Glenn had, I believe, bleeding in the brain, and I know he's got some headaches now from it and stuff, and he can't get on an aeroplane for a while, and he
he can't
can't
drive as
travel,
well. Yeah, he
and he
can't drive.
can't
Yeah,
drive. Matt, that's affecting his lifestyle. That's
yeah,
costing him money,
yeah.
and poor Glenn is having to deal with that.
Yeah.
I think that they should have to own up and sort that out because Glenn Byrne didn't deserve that. He would have had two other opportunities to get on two other fight cards with Matchroom, and who knows, Glenn Byrne could have been contesting for world titles, Matt. But it is what it is, Matt. I and we're a week from it. But I tell you one thing, that referee should never ever again
I
referee
just
anybody's fight.
you said there, we've just tried to interrupt you, but you said briefly there that you emailed the British Boxing Board of Control. Has there been a response back from the British Boxing Board
No,
of
so
Control
when
to
I
like
emailed the chairman, I got
Robert
a
Smith?
response back saying that he was out of office. But I did at the end of my email, I do want a response because if he doesn't respond to my email, Matt, trust me, I know people that I can poke that will get it looked at, Matt. Because at the end of the day, Matt, Glenn Byrne didn't deserve what happened to him, and someone needs to be accountable. Rob Carney, I think that's what his name, the referee's name. He needs to be accountable, Matt. And Glenn Byrne has lost an opportunity because of that man.
Have you spoken to Glenn since personally?
I have spoken to Glenn during the week, and we text and I messaged him yesterday, and he messaged me back. You know, Glenn's been inundated with text calls and stuff like that, and to be honest with you, Glenn's not in a great place, in my opinion, right now because he thinks he's failed. He didn't fail. In fact, Glenn's stock went up, but the referee took his opportunities away from him. And in my eyes, Glenn Byrne is a fucking champion and will always be a champion. Uh, Matt.
On that note, Brian, I really, really appreciate you joining us here. One more. I know you're a man for the horses. This will go out before, well, just after the Grand National, so we can see what the winner is. But who is the winner? Who wins the Grand National?
So I woke up this morning and I revoluted my sister in Ireland. I said, look, I liked watching the Grand National. So I have €100 to win on a horse called I Am Maximus at 8 to 1. He won it last year. Now, Tiger Roll won it 2 years in a row. So
2018, 2019. Yeah,
I'm hoping that I Am Maximus can win. And the money that I'll win, it's my mom's birthday next week. She's turning 80, so I'm flying back to Ireland next weekend with the kids, and I'll give it to her as a present for her birthday.
nice.
So I'm hoping I am Maximus will win, and my mother can go to Paddy Powers and collect the €900 and
Nice.
absolutely enjoy a vodka with
Okay,
bitter lemon. She likes vodka and bitter lemon.
that's
The
nice.
woman is 80, Matt, and she'll drink about two vodkas and bitter lemon. And
Jesus
she goes to
Christ.
mass every day.
Nice. She's fair hardy. She's fair hardy.
She is having to deal with me, but you know what? My mum is my mum, and I love her to bits, and I'm looking forward to coming back to Ireland again next week. It's my freaking fifth time coming back already this year, and I have about four more trips planned with the JB shows and so on and so forth. So listen, if there's a scrap, we will travel, Matt.
Nice. Brian, on that note, really appreciate it. Thank you so
All
much.
right, Matt, have a good Saturday.